Is it legitimate within the Islamic literature to fight one that doesn't believe in Allah solely for that purpose? Because he doesn't believe, can you fight such a person?
Wait, can you reiterate your question? Jumping in and out.
Is
You
it
kind of hit the
legitimate
matrix.
from Islamic literature, namely the Quran, the Hadiths, and you can go to the Tariq and so on and so forth? Is it legitimate for a Muslim to fight those who do not believe solely because they do not believe?
Well, my answer will be no. Maybe some answers were different throughout the Muslim community. Like if you're a Muslim and you're walking down the street, you see a Christian, they'll fight him because he's a Christian.
No, because you're not in the majority. This is also what the Quran is mentioning. If you are in the minority, you have to smile in the faces of the disbelievers when your heart curses them. You can go to Surah Imran, verse 28, and you can go to the quote of Al-Darda, because he mentions this, and Al-Darda was one of the Sahabis of the Prophet. But if you deny such a statement and say it's not legitimate to fight one because he is a disbeliever, can you read for me Surah 9, verse 29? This is the explicit message given by Allah to the Muslims, to Muhammad, to fight those who not believe. This is the sole reason. Because they do not believe, you should fight them until they submit or pay the jizya, which is the people of Dhimma. This is only options to Christians, Jews, and they can pay some protection money, like the mafia. You have to pay them so you can be safe at that moment. But all other people, all mushriks, all polytheists, should be fought, killed, or dispersed from the country. So this is an explicit message in the Quran, in Surah 9, verse 29. Can you respond to that particular ayah? Because this is the ayah given by Allah, and He actually mentions that you should fight those people.
And I pinned that for
Well,
everyone.
I mean, I guess at this point it would depend what kind of response you want. Now, I mean, I can just literally just use this verse, right, and just tell you that typically to this time period, it is very in the direction that they were headed in. And I
Give
can
me the.
also allude to, I guess, moral and ethical objections that you may have.
No, I'm asking you because you are contextualizing, right? Can you give me the Asbab and Nuzul, which states that this only counts for that particular time period? Can you show me from the Islamic literature that this order or this command doesn't fit today's
to
society
view it from
and we
your
should not
vantage point.
obey it anymore? Sorry?
No, it seems like you're only willing to not only view it from your vantage point, but propagate.
The problem, Isaiah, is this is not my interpretation nor my exegesis of the text. I'm just quoting the preeminent scholars concerning this issue. You can go to Tafsir al-Jalalain, Ibn Abbas, Ibn Kathir, Al-Qurtubi, and if you are familiar with this kind of tafsir, for example, Tafsir al-Jalalain, it's a very eminent scholar, namely Imam al-Suyuti. He's a theological giant on Aqidah. So it's your scholars that are informing me the proper interpretation of this verse. Who are you following? Because I'm following the Sahaba. I'm following Ibn Abbas, who was a family member of the Prophet, who explained this verse to us. So who are you following in your interpretation?
Isaiah, are you there?
Isaiah, you want me to give you the tafsir so you can read it for yourself? So you see that we are not making things up. This is what your scholars have to say. Let's go by, for example, the tafsir of Ibn Kathir. He's a very a prominent scholar because he also mentions the Pact of Umar. Why is the Pact of Umar important? Because the second Khalif after Abu Bakr was Umar ibn Khattab. And he introduced a law based on Surah 9, verse 29, which is called the Pact of Umar, which shows how you should treat non-believers and people of the book. What he mentions in the Pact of Umar, and Ibn Kathir describes this fact, is that you should humiliate the Christians and Jews because they are second-part citizens. You should disgrace them. You should force them out of your house, and you can stay there for 3 days. So if a Muslim enters a particular city and a Christian lives in a certain house, he can force that Christian out of his house, stay there for 3 days for free, because the Christian is disgraced and he should obey the Muslim. If a Muslim enters the street and sees a Christian, he can force them off the streets because he's a second-class citizen.
I mean, I want to ask you a question. Maybe it's something I missed, but was this taking place in a Muslim majority country?
No, actually, it wasn't.
Oh, really?
The Muslims, after Umar ibn Khattab, of course, because they were in theocratic society. But Muhammad didn't start out as the majority, right?
Of course
and this
not.
is the reason. This is the reason why the Quran states, "Do not ask for peace when you are the majority. Only ask for peace when you are in the minority." Ad-Darda is responding to that and stating, "We laugh in the faces of the
I mean, to me,
kuffar, but our
it
heart
makes a lot of
curse them."
sense.
sense
But as
that you
far
are
as like
smiling
if
to
we're going to
somebody when your
just
heart curses
like no
them?
no no let me answer it. Like as far as like referring to the time period and region, I think it makes sense why they may have thought that way.
You have to break it down slow. He
I mean,
doesn't
and still to this
understand.
day, I mean, you see like a lot of a lot of strikingly similar.
Can I give you just one more source? And Isaiah, let me share it with the. You're an Ahl Sunnah wal Jamaa, right? You're a Sunni Muslim. This is a Sahih Hadith, and it's actually practicing what the Quran is stating. So Isaiah, on top of the room, in Hadith and Sahih al-Bukhari is pinned. So let's read it together, because the Muslims were practicing this, and Allah actually explained how you should treat non-believers. So just go to the link, and he will explain it. In this particular hadith, it states, you true believers in Islamic monotheism, the verse, you true Muslims are the best of people ever raised upon for mankind, means the best of people for the people, as you bring them with chains on their necks till they embrace Islam. So the best of people, the best of Muslims, are the Muslims that put chains on the necks of the disbelievers until they embrace Islam. But there is no terror, right? Because this is very friendly. This is a very an intellectual way to convert people, bringing change around their necks until they embrace Islam. This is in sole harmony with the Pact of Umar and with the particular ayahs that I just mentioned.
Isaiah?